Action. You ready? You ready to roll? You got the light? Let me wet the whistle. You got the camera rolling, right? We're gonna fucking do this. One shot wonder, baby. For real. That's all I do. It's on human rights. We all know me and human rights. Come on now. It's my baby. Oh yeah, that's my baby. I love human rights. They're what make us us. These are God's rights. It's what makes us an individual. Why, hello, and shalom as always. Welcome to a little Rudy's Real Talk. Today, we got a special edition based on human rights. Oh, I love them. You guys know I've been in a 10-year battle that started with me fighting for the human rights of others and now fighting for the human rights of self, right? Ooh, passion, passion, passion. Here we go. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Nelson Mandela. To deny people their human rights, nobody's entitled to do that. They'll go to prison. Is to challenge their very humanity. Nelson Mandela. Now the writings of Rudy J. Camarillo. Amen. And gratuity towards those of which are our human rights. These rights are designed to reinforce us as human beings, ensuring our existence both matters and is respected. I personally view human rights to be that of God's will and rights, consisting of laws that are non-negotiable and required in the pursuit of oneself and self-fulfillment, providing both personal safety and security within this journey that we have been blessed with called life. Without which, the rich, the dominant, the boundary busters, and perhaps those operating by way of tyrannical tactics would be free to trespass, violate, condemn, oppress, control, and gradually dehumanize an entire population into submission for purposes of ulterior reasoning. Therefore, denouncing God's will for your life, the lives of others, the future of a society, and perhaps the world. This is precisely why human rights are accepted and enforced throughout the entire planet, awarded to each beating heart that God has created. These life-creating and preserving human rights go as follows, by way of a brief description. Article 1, we are all born free and equal. Article 2, freedom from discrimination. Article 3, right to life. Article 4, freedom from slavery. Article 5, freedom from torture. Article 6, right to recognition before the law. Article 7, right to equality before the law. Article 8, right to remedy. Article 9, freedom from arbitrary detention. Article 10, right to a fair trial, also known as due process, covered by the 5th, 6th, and 14th constitutional right as well. Article 11, presumption of innocence on international crimes. Presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Article 12, right to privacy, also covered under your privacy civil liberties, 4th, 8th, and 14th constitutional rights. Article 13, freedom of movement. Article 14, right to asylum. Article 15, right to nationality. Article 16, right to marry and to found a family. Article 17, right to own property. Article 18, freedom of religion or beliefs. Article 17, right to property, is also covered for the artist and authors. A right to one's own art and writings as an author is covered under Article 17. So to steal anybody's intellectual property or to perform copyright infringement is a human rights violation covered under 17. Back to Article 19, freedom of opinion and expression. Article 20, freedom of assembly and association. Article 21, a short course in democracy. Not democracy based on lies, democracy. Love it. Article 22, right to Social Security. Article 23, right to work. Article 24, right to rest and leisure. Article 25, right to adequate standard of living. Article 26, right to education. Article 27, right to cultural, artistic, and scientific life. Article 28, right to a free and fair world. Article 29, duty to your community. Article 30, rights are inalienable. Not even a president can waive your human rights, and they should be in prison if they do. That's how powerful God's given human rights are. God bless Geneva. These rights are regarded as both humanitarian and perhaps sacred, protecting everything from your fair treatment to your privacy, your culture, family's history, and way of life. This is why the 30th article ensures that no other articles is negotiable by anyone of any title or position, understanding that those within power or the pursuit thereof will violate and oppress those of which they can and must, to reach an objective of which they may not consist of a natural flow, sense of order, God's favor, or even morals and ethics. For we are merely mortal, and the human condition has long lasted and proven to be that of which requires stern boundaries and reinforced rights. God bless America, God save America. Human rights are essential in the operations of not only a society, country, or demographic, but the entire world, creating a mutual ground for the respect of human life, a standard of treatment for those of who are vulnerable, and a boundary that cannot be busted by no man nor woman upon another, creating a net of humanitarianism to catch anyone who may have fallen or been led down the path to dehumanization. I myself have literally endured the process of dehumanization through the restriction of human rights and experienced firsthand the damages that occur when your human rights are withheld or violated. Having 22 of my 30 human rights articles compromised routinely and repeatedly, resulting in thousands of violations as a part of an obstruction of justice scandal designed to degrade, ridicule, guilt, shame, gaslight, and de-work myself into a dehumanized state of existence where I would not feel worthy of rights or justice. Although I am, and I will. Following and during which I would realize not only the importance of human rights, but the reasoning and importance behind human rights. As men are capable of evil upon one another, this is proven extremely true from within self-preservation, and self-preservation is not always feasible per God's will and man's laws. This will most certainly lead to the violation of human rights, and with all actuality, probably be following the violations of human rights. We must remember that when someone is violating a human right, they are violating a human, and that human has the right to not be violated. It is our duty. It is our duty. It is our duty as a people and children of God to protect not only the human rights of ourselves, kin, and those we love, but also those of who we occupy this space and time with. We were designed and created to protect and care for one another. This is perhaps one of the most natural occurrences in the world. But amongst the day and age where we are comfortably covered by these rights within the masses, to the point of which we neglect the emphasizing of their importance, we must not become complacent nor discerned with the rights of those who have and are being overlooked and violated. As the great Martin Luther King Jr. once stated, an injustice to one is an injustice to all. An injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. End quote. How will you respect rights to keep the sanity within humanity? ... today? Question mark. Hey, that's it right there, folks. Human rights are God's rights. That is what makes you you, that is what gives you your personality, and that is what ensures your personality is passed on to your children and preserves your culture, way of life, and being as you were designed as an individual and specific child of God. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Nelson Mandela. Amen. Rudy Cameron. May you be blessed, have a great day, and shalom as always.